brothers? Welcome back to another episode of the Mixed Tribe. Dad, thank you so much for all the likes, shares, and subscribes. Thank you for all the DMs. And more importantly, thank you for wanting to change your life, your mindset, your process, your procedure, everything. I love it. Man, I read the comments, I read the DMs that come to me, and I'm so grateful. I'm grateful that I get to be around individuals who want to change, truly change who they are, the process, and wanting to become better. So let's jump into this one. This one is going to be fire. This one is going to be one that, man, it's right here built in the belly. As you can tell, I get super passionate about this. Again, I'm the only one I can say globally that is training on how I train and teaching and instructing and giving podcasts, actionable items, because nobody does it at the level that I do it. And nobody does it at the process I do it. And more importantly, nobody does because I've been both. I've been all three, right? Single and divorced dad, and I'm a bonus dad. And everything that I'm doing and teaching comes from that space. Nobody does that. Nobody teaches it. So let's dive right into the next one. What I've learned from my multiple millionaire mentors, right? The triple M's, multiple millionaire mentors. My current mentor right now, who's my great friend, I had him on my previous podcast, which was called The Art Study of You. And I was able to get him on there and interview him. Now, understand this. He only mentors the top 1% CEOs globally, okay? You can either find him in his house in the Swiss Alps, or you can find him in his house in Cyprus, or you can find him in his home in Florida. He's incredible. How did I get to be mentored by a man like this caliber? Let me tell you how I did it. Because this is the mindset. This is the habit stacking of millionaires, multi-millionaires. This is habit stacking. And what I'm about to teach you is how I built my last company, my company before, from $0 to helping a company do $34 million in 9 months with part-time college students with little to no sales experience. So this episode is going to dive deep on how to transform your business mindset. Okay, remember, go back to the 9 to 5 to CEO mindset. This is it. This is how we're going to framework and structure. Now, before you think, how does this apply to me? I'm not going to ever own my business. Let me tell you, because simple habits stack on top of habits, stack on top of habits, and you will find the better that you get at 30-minute habit stacking a day, the more time freedom that you are going to have to enjoy the memories. So buckle in. I have my top 10, probably now top 11, but actually top 12 books that I recommend everyone to read. So that link will be in this episode. So go ahead, click the link. You can look at the books. They're the greatest books that I think that are out there right now. That could probably change, but right now, that's where it's at. One book in particular that really helped me talk about habit stacking is this first book, right? The first book from Andy Andrews called The Traveler's Gift. Oh my gosh. When I read this book for the first time, I absolutely was blown freaking away. The premise of this book is a fictional character who goes through, it's a dad, which I love. Pressure is mounting and stacking on him, and the failures and financial woes, and then he dries off and goes into this dream state, if you will, where he sees each of these individual real characters, but it's taught in a fictional state. And what I love about this, there's a part where he's talking with Christopher Columbus. Okay, I get it, but listen up. He's having a conversation. Christopher Columbus has been out to sea for 40 plus days. Low food. Everybody's morale is low. Everybody's like, man, what the heck, man? We're going to die out here. A mutiny there is about to happen. And this individual is talking to Christopher Columbus, and he's like, what the heck, man? Everybody is in this dire strait, and yet you got this smile on your face. Why? Christopher Columbus is like, I can see where we're going. I can see it. I can see what it looks like, the greenery. I can see every part of this new world that we're going to, the beauty of it, the smell, the taste, the food. I can see it. Everybody around him is like, you're nuts. We are going to die out here. And this character's like, yeah, what in the world's going on? He goes, I can see it. I can see it. There are parts when you're reading that book that are fantastic. This part hit me the most because you are going to be the only one that sees the vision and where you're going. So habit number 1 is write down your vision, write down your goal, write down what it is you see. Earlier you saw that we talked about, right, vision boards. Write a vision board. This is it. You're the only one that can see it. And how do you script out your vision board? It's simple. There's the 5 F's. Remember the 5 F's: faith, family, finance, fitness, and fun. It doesn't have to be in that particular order, but it's really good if you start that way. Faith, family, finance, fitness, fun. Vision board. You are the only one that can see the vision of what you're doing. So number 1, habit number 1, millionaire mindset number 1, multimillionaire mindset, I should say, number 1, is create the vision. To create the vision that you are taking yourself and your family, your company, or your current occupation, where you're going. The first thing that you'll do, and every guru and every mentor that I have, both past and present, and the future ones that I have that I'm bringing into my calling into existence, they all talk first and foremost about faith. You got to have faith. You have to believe that there's something bigger than you in this universe. Whether you believe in God, which I do, I'm a 100% God-fearing individual, or you believe in the energetic pull, the faith, whether it's the Father Earth, whether it's Father Sky, Mother Earth, whatever it may be, you have to know that there's something bigger than you out there. That's where the faith comes in. Then your family. What are you doing to build memories and create memories with your family? What are you doing to create those memories, those long-lasting memories with your family? So you have your faith and then your family. What are you doing for your fitness? What are you doing for your fitness? How are you staying fit? Now listen, I'm not talking about having to kill yourself at the gym and go on this eating range and I'm only eating this. No. We start simple wherever you're at. What are you doing for fitness? Is it getting up earlier? Is it taking a little bit more walks? Is it during the course of your day at work, you get out and stand in the sun and let the sun rejuvenate you? It's scientifically proven if you stand 10 minutes in the sunlight, your whole mind will rewire itself. The sun has healing powers. Now you think that's crazy. Well, I know it's crazy. But if you stand, it's impossible to stand out in the sunlight. No distractions. Stand there and just be present for 10 minutes. It'll rewire your brain. If you do that twice a day, you're going to have a very productive day. I know because I've been teaching that for over a decade. So now you have that, right? Now you got your faith. Now you got your family. Now you got your fitness. What are you doing for fun? What are you doing for fun? What are you doing for fun? Both you personally, if you're married, what are you and your spouse doing? If you're not, what are you and your kids doing? So if you build this structure, what are you doing for fun? Well, how do you have fun individually? Then how are you creating that fun with you and your wife, you and your spouse? And then how are you creating that fun with you and your children? How are you creating all of that fun? It's different levels, different when you're the single dad or when you're the bonus dad. You got to create and separate. So you have 2 separations and 2 things you got to focus on, right? So what are you doing for fun? And what does that look like? What does that mindset look like when you've got the faith now? Now you got the family. Now you got the fun or the faith. You got the family. You got the fitness. Now you got the fun. You got all 4 of them built up. And this last one here, finance. What do you need to do now to create this memory? How do you habit stack to create this memory? What are you going to do? How are you going to change? How are you going to elevate yourself so you can put yourself in the best position to gain more financially? Not financially so you can say, wow, I'm going to go out and buy all these new things. Yes, but what are you going to do to elevate to those 4 things that you're gunning for? This is the habit. One habit stacked on another habit, stacked on another habit. So now you have your vision, your 2020. Right now you'll be 2025. Next year will be 2026 and so on and so on. That board comes up and you look at it every single day and say, this is the vision. This is what I'm pushing for. 30 minutes a day you visualize. 30 minutes in the morning you visualize. So my morning routine is really, really simple. It's simple because I've done the same thing over and over and over and over again for 10 years. It's changed. It's changed here. Sometimes I'm really good. Sometimes I'm horrible at it. But the fact is that I stay consistent. Consistency breeds generational change. That's what it does. Consistency, let me say this again. Consistency breeds generational change. You want to change your generation, your posterity? Be consistent. Vision first. So that's what you got to do. 30 minutes a day. You look at that vision board. You study the vision board. What am I doing to push towards the end result? Which is, these are the things that I want to accomplish this year with my faith, my family, my fun, my fitness, and my finance. This is what I'm going to do. And now I got to figure out how I'm doing that. So in the morning, you sit and visualize your goals all the time. You visualize that goal. It's on the force. It's on right here, right at the front. It's activating your RAS. Right there. Boom. Then what kicks in? What kicks in? Right. Dopamine. Dopamine starts to kick in. And then because you built the structure, the oligodendrocyte, because you've been able to build that coding around those neurons that are firing, you've been able to scope that baby in, right? You've been able to scope it in and zero it in and say, this is what I'm going to be doing. This is my focus. Everything else is just noise. This is my focus. Everything else is trying to deviate me from my focus. This is my focus. 30 minutes a day, you focus on that. 30 minutes, not for all 30 minutes, but you're going to take 30 minutes and you're going to focus on that vision. Whether it's 5 minutes, whether it's 10 minutes, whether it's the whole time, you get to decide. So now, well, how do we stack another habit on top of that? Well, now you got to break it down into edible parts. Now you got to break it down into edible, how do I go about doing this? So then you get into your what we call 90-day runs. A good friend of mine taught me one of the best principles. He does 90-day runs. 90-day runs, and he scripts them out. See, this is all I'm doing for 90 days. This is it. Boom, right here. 90 days, boom. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. Corey Lewis, the owner of Warrior Energy Drink. My first sponsor for my show, my previous podcast, and we'll be sponsoring this one, of course. Warrior Energy Drink. You go back and listen to that podcast. I'll actually put the link in here and listen to how he does 90-day runs. And that's what he does. So I read a book, second book that I recommend. So we got The Traveler's Gift by Andy Andrews. Love the book. Love it. Now what we got to do is build time freedom. How do you build time freedom? Well, my digital mentor, Dan Martell, buy back your time. How do you buy back your time? You find these little incremental wins that you can do, these 90-day structures. This is what it is. Can I use what's available to me, aka AI? Can I use that to help me become better? Now, listen, I get it. If you're a construction worker, right? If you're in that labor intense field, how do you use AI to build something that it requires manual labor? How are you a truck driver, or how are you a big machine driver, bulldozer, right? How do you that have to be outside to work on your hands? How can you use AI to help you become more efficient? Well, that's a great question. How do you buy back your time? I'm sure there are parts in those days where you're able to listen to a podcast or a book. Maybe you haven't really figured out how to use AI to your best skill set. Maybe you're like, well, what do I do? I don't even know how to use the different ones, the Chat GTPs or the Gemini or the Grok. How do I use these? It's a great question. That's all out there in the space for you to do it. Dan Martell talks about ways to buy back your time. If you can use systems to help create a better function for you, you can use systems to reduce 10, 15, 20% of what takes you, it's just meaningless things to do, then figure it out, find it out. It's called Google University or YouTube University, right? Or you can reach out. I'm sure there are people out there in the space that would love to teach you. Love to teach you. I got no problem sharing you how I do it. Just click the link and book a time. Buy back your time. My digital mentor. He's my digital mentor, Dan Martell. I read the book, studied the book, and understood the book. This is what I need to do, habits upon habits. Little ways for me, right, to buy back my time, to offload things that are not important. Stack them. This is the most important. This is high priority, right? Everything else just comes down in here. When you are in the mode and you're in that run mode and you're doing something that requires 100% of your focus, you turn off all notifications. You put an email responder on your email that says I will be in a meeting, an intense meeting for the next 60 minutes or the next 90 minutes. I will reply back to these when I get a chance. You buy back your time by scheduling those times. Twice a day, you make these runs and you shut off all notification. You tell everybody, I'm going into this, I'm doing this meeting. You don't, look, it may not even be a meeting with a client, but it's a meeting within yourself, a high priority, high level meeting, which requires you to focus 100% of your time. 100% focus. 100% focus. You turn off all notifications and that's all you do. All you do. Buying back your time. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. You can do that when you're out roofing or when you're out on construction. You find those times. And I know you're going to tell me I'm going to get the DMs because I hear it all the time. Well, that's bullcrap. We can't listen to anything. Really? Really? You can't? I watch people all the time have music playing. I watch people all the time that are outside working. My own son, listen to me. My son worked out he's an electrician. He's worked outside in the field. I could call him and he would pick up. What's up? I go, how'd you pick up so fast? You go, you got an AirPod in. What are you listening to music? Yeah, no, I'm listening to a book. Don't tell me you can't. I have another son who is works at I've got another son, right? He works for Kroger Foods. Yeah, I can call him. He'll answer. What are you doing? Working. How'd you answer so fast? Got an AirPod in. You can do that? Yeah. As long as we get our work done. I got my son who was knocking doors. Had an AirPod in. Got my other son who works and develops. He's got time. Got another son who is at this, obviously, right? Insurance. That's what he's doing. At school. Got kids, daughters. They have their AirPods in. They're listening. They have breaks and they listen. Don't tell me it cannot happen because you just have to find the time. Here's a little extra hint. What if you went to your boss and your manager or whatever, whoever it is, let's go to your boss. And you say, listen to me. Listen, no, I'm obviously not way, but if you say, I'm working on myself, I'm building myself up. For 15 minutes today, I want to listen to this podcast. I'm reading this book and whatever. What if you were to go to him and say, are you cool at this time during the day? I put one AirPod in or one listening device in or whatever it may be. One time a day or twice a day for 15 minutes, I plug this in and I have it. So if you see me with it in my ear, if you see it in here, know that it's because I'm listening to this book or I'm listening to this podcast or I'm listening to this personal development. This is what I'm doing. What do you think they're going to say? What do you think they're going to say? Reply back in the comments. DM me. Tell me what they're going to say. My digital mentor, Dan Martell, has said, this is how you buy back your time. If you're intentional with your time, if you treat your time like it's the best thing in the world, it's the goldest thing in the world, then everybody else around you will respect your time because it is your time. You aren't trading your time for freedom. You're trading your freedom for time. That's what you're doing. Right now, your freedom is being chained to time. Instead, you want your time to create the freedom that you want. And that's how you do it. Buy back your time. The third book. I'm telling you right now, this third book is where I prevailed. And I'm going to tell you, The Atomic Habits by James Clear. Listen to me. When you get into space and you're really trying to habit stack, okay, when you're really in that space of really habit stacking, obviously you create the vision board. Now you did your 90-day run, and now we're going to focus. And now this is the part that the engine is primed and moving because for 90 days, you know what you're going to focus on. So now how do you skinny it down? Skinny it down to even more, okay? So we skinnied it down. Now here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do every single day. Every single day, we're going to figure out the habit that is going to lead us to that next vision, to lead us to that next growth. That habit is how it's going to build us. Every single day, we're going to habit stack. The very first thing that we are going to do. And I did this with the company that I built with part-time college students with little to no sales experience. And man, I'm telling you, that was the funnest company. Why? Because they were sponges. They didn't use past trauma, AKA past companies or where they're currently at right now, they didn't use any of that as a baseline. What they used was, I don't know anything, so teach me. Oh, it was my favorite. That was my favorite because they wanted to learn. They were dedicated to learning. The first thing that we did was this. Before you start anything in the morning, when you come into work, you have to start your day. Ed Milet talks about this a lot. You have to start your day before you start your day. And how do you do that? You take the first 30 minutes of when you wake up. Now, I do 2 hours. I've built myself to where I do the first 2 hours of my morning is to me. I'm super, super hyper focused on it. I'm super anal about it. I'm super protective. That is my time. The first 2 hours in the morning are for me. But I get up earlier than everybody. I'm up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm up when people are barely waking up, I have already gone an hour to 2 working on me. That's when I do my walks in the morning. That's when I commune. That's where I commune with God. That's where I'm listening to scripture. I'm listening to personal development. I'm listening to business growth, and I'm stopping and I'm recording. Oh, man, I had this great idea. Oh, I had this great idea. And then I give thanks, and then I pause and just observe the beauty that's all around me. And I watch the sunrise, and I give thanks for the sun. So the first thing you need to do is establish that morning routine. The best thing that I ever learned from a good friend of mine who's a multimillionaire, he said, being the CEO of a company, of a multi-million-dollar company, is boring. Why? Because you do the same thing over and over and over and over a day. Why would you change when you know the system that you've created works? And his system, he learned from somebody else who created the system, who's a multimillionaire. And their system, they learned from somebody else who was a multimillionaire. And their system, they learned from somebody else who was a multimillionaire. So systems breed consistency, and that's what you need. You need to have a consistent habit. Understand this. It takes 21 days to start a habit, a good habit. It takes 21 days to start a good habit. It takes another 30 days to solidify that habit. Do you understand that? It takes 21 days to start a good habit. It takes 30 days to solidify that habit. It takes 5 days to start a crappy habit, and that you have it you just have it. So habit stacking. James Clear talks a lot about atomic habits, how to block the noise, how to schedule yourself, how to really focus in on the item that you have for the day. You should have 2 to 4 high priority habits or high priority things that you are working on every single day. 2 to 4, that's it. Other than that, you can bring on things as they come, but 2 to 4. And why 2 to 4? Your brain likes consistency. If you just do 1, then when you accomplish that, then your brain like, what next? If you do 2, then your brain goes, okay, we got to get the first one done and we'll get to that second one. Perfect. Then what's next? If you do 4, then your brain goes, okay, how do I really focus in to accomplish what I need to get accomplished so I can go achieve the 4th? The 4th is the rabbit. There always needs to be a rabbit that you're chasing. Think about dog races, right? What's out in front? A rabbit. The dogs, greyhounds, are chasing an uncatchable rabbit. They're never going to catch that rabbit. That rabbit is going too fast for them to catch. But they don't care what's around them. Have you noticed that? They don't care about the other dogs. They don't care about the crowd. They don't care about the noise. Their sole focus is catching the rabbit. Your sole focus is catching that 4th item that needs to get done today. That is your focus. You are focusing so much to buy back your time, to win today, to give the thanks, to understand this habit that you are gunning for this habit. When you do less, you accomplish more. Let me say that again. When you do less, you accomplish more. What do I mean by that? When you do less, when you will focus on 4 things or 2 things, when you do, that's all you want to focus on, you now will accomplish so much more than if you just focus on things as they come and the distractions and an email and a text message and a phone call and a meeting and having to do this or having to go there and get up and move around, right? All of that is distraction and noise. But when you do less, you accomplish a heck of a lot more. And that's where it is. You stack a habit on top of a habit. When I did this with that company, these kids came in, the first thing that they did before they turned on their computer, They accessed at Microsoft Excel. They went to their Excel spreadsheet, and it was what was called the attitude of gratitude. They were able to write out 3 things that they were grateful for. 3 things. What are you grateful for? And it could be crap. I'm grateful that I got snacks here. I'm grateful that I got no money in my bank account, but I got food out here that they're providing me. It was fantastic for them. College kids were so fun to work with. People who don't know don't have bad habits. People who are willing to work and are open to instructions, they're not the smartest people in the room. The worst people to work with are the people who already know everything. And who do they sound like? They sound like this. Well, if you do it, yeah, this is how I want you. Oh, yeah, I know that. They suck. I hate working with people like that. It's terrible. No, you don't know because I have more knowledge than you, but yet you're going to tell me you already know? I don't want to hear that. So they would write down 3 things that they were grateful. I do that still today. What are the 3 things that you're grateful for? Could be small, could be long, could be one word, it could be sentences. And then I said, what are the 3 things that you're going to focus on today, non-business related? So if they were in sales, right, it wasn't about a sales goal or what they needed to hit. I didn't want them to focus on that. If it was customer service, it wasn't how many accounts they were going to be able to save. If it was quality assurance, it wasn't about how many QA, QCs things they were going to get through, right? There wasn't these benchmarks. Yes, there are certain numbers that had to be hit. Now, here's the best thing. Here is the greatest thing that I learned from many of my great mentors. When you help enough people get what they want, you will always live in abundance. Remember that. When you help enough people get what they want, you will always live in abundance. The second phrase, everybody hears it. All ships rise with the same tide. All ships rise with the same tide. So when you elevate those around you to your tide, you're trying to get to somebody else's tide that's elevating you there. Did you catch that? So the boat that everybody's trying to get to has layers of boats. And as you help the boats below you rise, then your tide rises and their tide rises. Everybody's tide keeps rising. So when we focus on things that aren't monetarily focused on, but more focused on building the individual first, building their confidence, building their drive, building who they are, building them as a person, when you focus on that, you will have an explosion like you've never had before. I know because that's what happened to that company. Well, that's what happened to that company. The first 2.5 months, dead red, losing money. We were losing so much money a week, I thought we were going to go under. I thought I was going to get canned. I thought they were going to replace me. The investors were going to come in and be like, you're done. We're bringing somebody else in. They could not fathom why I wanted to build a company with part-time college students with little to no sales experience. They could not fathom why I wouldn't want to have full-time employees. They could not fathom why I wanted seasoned professionals. They could not fathom why we would say we will pay them what we feel like they are worth. They couldn't fathom that. And I said, nobody wants to be a caged animal. Nobody wants to be fed like a caged animal. One of the greatest sayings I ever heard was from a man from the stage when I was at a conference. And he said, I would rather starve as a free lion than be fed like a caged animal. Let me say this again. Let me say this freaking again. I would rather starve as a free lion than be fed like a caged animal. And you can feel it. Your employees, you as an employee, when your team, they can feel it when they are being fed like a caged animal. The do's, the don'ts, this is how we do it, the process, blah, blah, blah. When they feel it that way, they will respond. You say, we want more, but I don't want you to do more of this. I want you to do more of this. Yes, I know that you're a salary employee, that we ask you to work 40 hours, but we may need you to work more. Bull crap. What you are saying is, I'm going to pay you X, but I'm going to make you work 1.5 times more than what we value at. That's why most people burn out. That's why people burn out super fast. You want to know why people leave your company? It's because you treat them like a caged animal. You treat them like a dollar sign. That's why you leave. If you are on the other side and you're the one that are leaving, that you're like, I need something new. I need something venturous. I need something that can help me grow as an individual. What you are saying is, I am tired of being fed like a caged animal. I want to live free like a lion. And if I starve, then I starve. But at least I know I have that control. So habit So we're working on this habit. When my young entrepreneur workers came in, they wrote down the 3 things that they were grateful for and the 3 things that they were going to work on, such as this: tone, confidence, speed, not saying filler words, yes, so, but, like. We're getting rid of all that. We're going to focus on building you as that individual. So that habit, that habit you want to form is building that individual, building your greatness, understanding the stacking of the atomic habits. And I'm going to give you a bonus one because I think this one, oh my gosh, so much fun. Mel Robbins, come on now, the 5-second rule. Come on now, you count backwards. They got super scared before they would flip the switch to make out those outbound phone calls, before they got into that meeting, before you go and do a presentation, before you go to that interview, before you go to make that step to the pitch of the investor. You say to yourself, here's what it is. I prepared. I've done everything I could. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, execute. 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 That's what I love about the 5-second rule. You count backwards. And why backwards? Because there's nothing after 1. Nothing. Don't give me this crap. Oh, there's 0, negative. No, that's bull crap. There's nothing after 1. But if you count forwards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I'll do it, 7, 8. That's what happens. Mel Robbins, beautiful book, 5-second rule. You count backwards. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, execute. And then you execute. And what happens when you do this? Whether it's buyback in your time, where it's the atomic habits, or it's a 5-second rule, or it's the traveler's gift. What happens is the dopamine, your brain starts to develop the habit, and it loves the habit, and then you start to feel, hey, we're in that part of the day that we should be doing this. We should be blocking out all the noise and all the distraction. We should be isolated and focused on this is what we should be doing. Your brain starts to salivate. Pavlov's dog, the bell goes off. You start to salivate. You start to get excited. You start to think to yourself, it is time to grind. It is time to move. It's time to push. It's time to become better. That's what our brain wants. We're on the 22nd day of this habit. We've now established the habit, and now we're building. We're 22nd days in, 30 days in. Now we're 40 days in. Now we're 51 days in. We have now solidified this habit. Here's the beauty of it. The only reason why you would start to fail or slip is because you choose to go backwards. You choose to let the old self become more comfortable. You choose to live in that falsetto of fear. False evidence appearing real. Let me say that again. False evidence appearing real. You choose to go back to a life and become stagnant. Stagnant is the thief of happiness. And if you're listening to this, you don't want to be stagnant. You want to grow. You want to get after it. You want to build. You want to push. You want to be that badass man, single dad, divorced dad, or bonus dad. You want to build and stack habits. You want to do less so you can achieve more. And this all comes back to, as a single dad, when you present a plan to your company and your people that are over you and your bosses and say, hey, look, here's what I'm working on. This is what I'm doing. There may be times that I have to leave to go grab a kid from wherever because that's just what happens. But I know this is what I'm working on. This is where I should be at this point of the day. If it does happen, I do have to leave. Just know that I've accomplished up to 80% of everything I'm supposed to be doing, and then I can make it up at those emergency times. Or the bonus dad is like, hey, I'm trying to blend a family. I'm trying to build my family. This is what I'm going to be doing. So here's what it is. I may have to leave at times to go to the kids this or go here or go there. If you communicate the plan that you are trying to execute, they will invite it and they will like it. And if they don't, you might want to rethink things. Habits stacked on top of habits, stacked on top of habits, create new individuals. New individuals create generational change, and that's what we're all about, creating generational change. Guys, thank you so much for being part of this global change, this global initiative, become the best versions of ourselves. Like, share, subscribe, send this to somebody. Send this to somebody who needs to hear this. That 30-day transformation is there for a reason. What I just shared with you is part of what comes inside of that 30-day transformation. Get in, get on, let's get moving. Let's go crush this thing. I love you, boys.